Hey guys, Misteki here, and this is the Tecno Camon 19 Pro. I've got the 5G edition right here. It is not the first 5G phone from Tecno, but it's actually the first Camon device from Tecno to come with 5G. Now, this cost about, 198,000 naira, which is about 200,000 naira if we were to round it up. A bit on the high side. But yeah, what does this phone have, and should you get it? Well, let's find out in this video. And guys, I'm going to start off by unboxing this, and in my retail unit you have all of the accessories that you're probably used to from Tecno. So there's a clear transparent case, but yeah, you also have a Type-C cable, you have a 33-watt charging brick, which is the same as last year's version, that's the Camon 18 Premier, and finally you have earphones and a SIM ejector pin, so nothing new in the box. Anyways, let's quickly do away with this and let's touch on the specs for a few seconds, especially the upgrades or downgrades that Tecno Mobile has made here. Now, first off is the display, and unfortunately, we no longer have, the AMOLED screen that we got on previous model. Instead, the Camon 19 Pro series now comes with, an LCD display, right? Now, the refresh rate, which is 120 Hz, remains the same though, but the size, the PPI, and resolution all have been slightly upgraded. Now, in terms of performance, the chipset has been upgraded to enable the 5G connectivity. So now, instead of using, the Helio G96 chip that other Camon 19 devices come with, this now comes with a MediaTek Dimensity 810. However, the GPU, the RAM, and even the internal storage remain the same as the Camon 18. So when it comes to GPU, RAM, there are no upgrades here. But the only major difference in this category, that's the performance category, is the infusion of the memory fusion tech, which of course lets you to expand the RAM on this phone from 8 gig to 13 gig. Now, surprisingly, the cameras on the Camon 19 Pro 5G is not the same as the ones on the Camon 19 Pro 4G edition. So even though it's still, a triple camera setup, Tecno Mobile has removed the telephoto lens that we have on the Camon 19 Pro, and now they've added a 2MP micro lens and a 2MP depth sensor. They've also reduced the front-facing camera from 32 megapixels that was spotted on the Camon 19 Pro 4G edition to 16 megapixel on the Tecno Camon 19 Pro 5G edition. Now, honestly, I'm not sure why Tecno Mobile used this approach, why all of the reductions and downgrades, but it is what it is. And yes, still on the camera setup. And guys, the main camera sensor, which is a 64MP camera, and it's the same as last year's model, now comes with a color filter sensor technology that adds like a white subpixel to existing universal RGB configurations. Now, what all of that tech jargons mean is that with the RGB configuration, the light intake is now enhanced by 30%. So in other words, this camera is supposed to perform well under low light. And guys, the battery on this guy has also been upgraded from 4,750 mAh on previous version to 5,000 mAh on this version, but we still get the same 33-watt fast charging brick that was spotted on last year's model. Now, I might be wrong, but this is actually the first time ever that Tecno Mobile has added an NFC feature on their phones. And guys, they just had to let the world know about it, right? And they placed like this little NFC sticker right on the package in case it's not visible enough, or in case you're not clear about this feature. But guys, away from that, and as for security, Tecno Mobile is still retaining the side fingerprint mounted sensor that does the job. Like, I have no complaints. I wish this was an in-display fingerprint sensor, but yeah. So with the specs out of the way, let's talk about one of the main selling points of this device. And I'm sure you already know by now that the Camon line from Tecno Mobile is centered on cameras, right? Anyway, the moment you launch the camera app on the phone, you probably not notice anything major. There's still the beauty, portrait, and the super night mode that we're used to seeing from Tecno Mobile. But when you tap here, you notice that Tecno has added a couple of camera modes. Now, one is a super macro mode. I'm sure people are not new to this mode, and it allows you to capture macro shots like this one. There's also the pro mode, which gives you more flexibility when you're taking pictures, right? But there's actually a new mode in town, and that is the Sky Shop mode. Now, this is a mode that I've never seen before now. And basically what it does is to change the default sky by adding different filters to it. So, for example, here's a picture without applying Sky Shop. And now here's one with Sky Shop applied. And guys, I could even add a moon, I could add a rainbow, or just choose from a number of presets that Tecno has added here. Now, right now, I do like this feature. Like, I like being able to change the sky when I want to, but I don't know if I'm going to like it in like 4 months down the line. So let me know your thoughts. Do you think this feature is gimmicky? Let me know in the comment box. Anyway, when it comes to videos, right, you can shoot in 2K resolution, which is actually the highest that Tecno Mobile is giving on the Tecno Camon 19 Pro 5G edition. But I want you to bear in mind that if you shoot in 2K, you're not going to get OIS or EIS, as this only works in 1080p. So in other words, if you shoot in 2K, you get shaky shots, right? So the only way to have like a stable shot is by shooting in 1080p. You can also choose to activate the portrait mode for videos. Now, this is actually similar to iPhone's cinematic video, but guys, it only works in 720p, which is somewhat of a letdown. Now, with that said, let's see how the camera quality on the Camon 19 Pro 5G edition fares. And guys, to test this, I have decided to pit it against the previous model, that's the Camon 18 Premier, just to see if there are any upgrades, like if there are any major upgrades here. And guess what, guys? I'm also going to be pitting it against the iPhone 13 Pro Max. Of course, bear this in mind. I don't think that the Camon 19 Pro has or stands a chance against a much expensive device like the iPhone 13 Pro Max, right? But this is just, to give you some bit of a perspective into how far the cameras on the Camon 19 Pro can, perform. Now, with that said, let's get started. So the first test is the vibrancy test, and straight off the bat, it is obvious that the Tecno Camon 19 Pro now produces brighter images. Now, this is evident when you look at the sans. Now, in my opinion, I feel that it looks slightly sharper than what we got on the Camon 18 Premier. Now, here's the comparison with the iPhone 13 Pro Max. What do you guys think of the results? But moving on to the second image, and I feel that the narrative is even more evident. I feel that the images from the Tecno Camon 19 Pro looks vibrant as opposed to what we got on the Tecno Camon 18 Premier. I also think that it produces realistic colors. As you can see, the Tecno Camon 18 Premier actually has like a green hue on the images. But how does it fare when you compare with expensive devices like the iPhone 13 Pro Max, for example, or the Samsung Galaxy A73, which cost about 280,000 naira? Well, I feel that the Tecno Camon 19 Pro and the Galaxy A73 are slightly similar in terms of colors and dynamic range, but I can't deny the fact that the Tecno Camon 19 Pro actually looks brighter than the Galaxy A73, especially when it comes to shadows. Now, here's another picture that further pushes this narrative. Let me know if you agree with me in the comment box. Now, let's look at how well the Tecno Camon 19 Pro is able to handle exposure and dynamic range. And once again, I feel that Tecno has made an upgrade to this aspect. For example, we now have more details, especially in the clouds, as opposed to what we got on the Tecno Camon 18. It is also able to handle the sun's exposure better than what we got on the Tecno Camon 18, for example. Meanwhile, here's a side-by-side comparison with the Samsung Galaxy A73 and the iPhone 13 Pro Max. And once more, I feel that the Tecno Camon 19 Pro does a better job than the Galaxy A73 in retaining brightness, especially in the shadows. But guys, let's move over to skin photography, and the iPhone 13 Pro Max clearly leads the pack, right? But if I were to pick the second best, it has to be the Tecno Camon 19 Pro. I like how true to life the skin tones look, which is not the vibe that I'm getting from the Samsung Galaxy A73. The only thing I don't like with the Tecno Camon 19 Pro is that it tends to get really bright. As you can see with the top in this shot, for example, it's not as detailed as the others. But moving to the next shot, let me know which one you think is better. Is it the Tecno Camon 19 Pro? Is it the Samsung Galaxy A73? Or is it the iPhone 13 Pro Max? Let me know which one you're picking in the comment box. But guys, let's move over to low light photography. And I feel that this is one aspect that the Tecno Camon 19 Pro is supposed to shine at. And during my test, I noticed that it did fare better, especially when compared with the Samsung Galaxy A73, for example, right? I noticed that the shots taken with the Camon 19 Pro actually looked sharper in low light. As you can see, the flaw in this shot is more detailed than what we're getting on the Galaxy A73, right? I also feel that the pictures looked warmer than others. For example, I like the color temperature that the Camon 19 Pro is producing in low light than even what we're getting on the iPhone 13 Pro Max. And guys, that's not to say that the Camon 19 Pro is better than the iPhone 13 Pro Max though. Now let's switch to the front camera, and obviously the iPhone 13 Pro Max is once again the king in this department. As for the Camon 19 Pro, which is the device I'm testing, I noticed that it has like an airbrushed look, especially with the skin tones. But guys, aside from the iPhone 13 Pro Max, let me know which one of the images you prefer in the comment box. Do you prefer the image from the Camon 19 Pro when it comes to selfies, or would you rather go for the Samsung Galaxy A73? Now guys, with the camera talk out of the way, let's talk about the design. And yep, this uses a plastic build. It doesn't attract a lot of fingerprint stains, which I like, but it is quite slippery, so you have to use a case on it. If not, it's going to be sliding off from your hand, right? And I also noticed that it is slightly heavier than last year's version. Now, another thing that has changed is the fact that this has like a boxy design. If you switch it to the side, you tend to see that it has a sort of, you know, an iPhone-esque-ish design going on, and I'm sure a lot of people might like it. I do like it, right? And yeah, but that aside, I noticed that the display quality on the Camon 19 Pro is slightly better than the Camon 18 Premier, despite the fact that we're not getting an AMOLED screen on this guy. For example, the white on the Camon 19 Pro is a true shade as opposed to what we are getting on the Camon 18 Premier, which has like a bit of a warm undertone going on. Anyways, away from that, and guys, Tecno Mobile is using the latest Hios on this guy. But I'm sure you are expecting for me to say, yes, I'm kind of disappointed that, you know, Tecno Mobile is doing this and all of that. But surprisingly, I noticed I didn't get as many bloatware notifications during my short time with this device, which is strange because the Camon 18 Premier actually still comes with a lot of notifications that can be very, very annoying. But guys, I'm going to update this post if the situation changes. Hopefully not. Now, as far as the performance go, I had no issues with playing highly intensive graphics games on this guy. And by issues, I mean I did not notice any major lag. Navigation is also quite smooth thanks to that, you know, 120 Hz refresh rate, which you can change to 60 Hz in the settings, or you can just leave it at auto switch if you prefer that instead. Meanwhile, here's how it fared in the benchmark score, especially when compared to the Camon 18 Premier. Let me know what you think. Now, as for the sound, unfortunately, Tecno Mobile did not include stereo speaker on this guy. I was actually expecting stereo speaker, but no, we don't get that. Yeah, instead, we have a downward firing speaker. It is reasonably loud, I'm not gonna lie, but it's not as loud as many devices I've tested it with in recent times. So what about battery? Like I said, we have a 5,000 mAh battery on this guy, which should last you throughout the day of, you know, moderate use. For me, I was able to get a screen on time of 7 hours, and it took about 74 minutes to charge this from 0 to 100, of course using the dedicated 33 watts charger that comes with it. Now, with that said, I feel that, you know, the Tecno Camon 19 Pro, the 5G edition, lives up to, you know, the expectation when it comes to the cameras, especially the price point that it sits in, right? I love how vibrant the pictures look, and for that price, I think the camera quality is quite okay, right? I would have loved to see an AMOLED screen. I would have loved to see stereo speakers, a higher fast charging rate. But once again, that is not the case, right? Anyways, let me know what you guys think about this phone from Tecno and the price point, the 198,000 euro price point. Whew. Let me know your thoughts in the comment box. Meanwhile, I want to find out something, right? Would you go for this? That's the Tecno Camon 19 Pro 5G. Given that, you know, it is reduced, it has like reduced camera features, or would you go for the Tecno Camon 19 Pro without the 5G because it comes with a lot of camera features like the telephoto lens and a higher megapixel in front? Let me know which one you'll be going for in the comment box. And guys, if you find this video useful, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care.